Hello, my name is Harold Reynolds. I'm the training director at the Louisville Electrical Apprenticeship, and I'm here with one of my instructors. And it's not this guy, but it is this guy.
I'm Dakota Collins. I'm an instructor here at the Louisville Electrical JATC.
So Dakota and I are going to give you a tour of the facility, explain to you what we view as electric work and all the different types of technologies we use, the things that we get into, basically an overview of the work. We're also going to tell you about the day school program and what it takes to get in. So first thing we're going to do is look at a couple of our classrooms and talk about a little bit of what we do there. So the first lab we're going to look at real quick is called our electronics lab. We do some basic circuitry here, motors, some theory, and we get into some basic troubleshooting as well. So I'm going to give you a little panoramic here real quick. Our students are in this room doing all kinds of things all the years that we have. And the skill sets, the training, the theory, as well as the hands-on vary just depending on the topic. We cover a little over 90 total topics in the program. And don't worry, it sounds like a lot, but just like any other school, we give it to you in little chunks. We've been doing this since 1963. Next thing we're going to do real quick, step into our computer lab. Now, our computer lab is used for a lot of things. If you finish the program, not only do you have a state electrical license, you also have an apprenticeship certificate that is recognized all over the country and even outside of our country in a few places, as well as an associate's degree with Ivy Tech, an associate's degree in applied science. And part of this classroom is not only used for the degree program and the Ivy Tech classes like communication and technical writing, but also for this guy, which we'll talk about a little bit more downstairs. But this is a PLC. We teach you what a PLC is, we teach you how it works, how to wire it up, and how to troubleshoot it. So you're going to get all kinds of things. One of the things that people talk about is a college education. This education costs about $55,000, $56,000 a year for one student to the program. And remember what I said a moment ago is that cost is free to you as long as you're following the policies and rules we have. In turn, you're out there working with a journeyman, making money and installing electric work for one of up to 40 plus contractors. So there's a lot of employment opportunities. You don't have to find your own job. We help you find employment while you're in the program. Now, the college degree. The college degree is a big deal because not only are you getting our education, but some people are putting a huge value on college educations. Here you're getting both, but the difference is you don't have debt. You're walking out of it with money in your pocket and retirement savings already rolling.
Upon completing the program, you will graduate earning over $33 an hour with added benefits such as full family medical coverage and 3 different retirement plans, both of which are at no cost to you. You will have also earned a degree in applied science from Ivy Tech, as well as earned a state-issued electrical license. I'm going to take over for a second and let you guys know exactly what your day-to-day would look like here at the school. First off, you don't necessarily come to school every single day of the week. You show up for a full 8-hour course once every other week. Typically, you get assigned a Monday, a Tuesday. Every other week, you come to school for 8 hours. For the first couple of hours, you might spend a little bit of time in our lecture room going over some of the basics, getting the general knowledge, just understanding what it takes to be an electrician and what we do. After that, usually for the last half of the day, you'll start to develop some of your hands-on skills, whether it be basic circuitry or bending conduit. Eventually, you'll work your way up throughout the process and get some more advanced skills.
Thanks, Cody. Cody will jump back in here in a minute. What we did is we just walked into what we call one of our industrial areas. So this is things where we make stuff. It could be tires, clothing, pens, ketchup, cookies for that matter. Everything we have in this world comes down to some kind of automated manufacturing. So a lot of people think that we do various types of work. Hey, Cody, if we were to ask these guys and gals what kind of work that we do, what do you think they would tell us?
Light bulbs, switches, and some plugs.
Yeah, maybe a ceiling fan thrown in?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what most people think of. And we do teach all that stuff. We teach Romex wiring, but we also teach many other types of wiring methods. We teach house and residential wiring and code to make sure it's put in safely. But a large part of what we do is commercial, industrial, institutional. Anything from a factory that's making that ketchup or those cookies to a steel mill, power plants where our electricity is generated, Ford and GE do a lot of work those places. We also work in schools, colleges, institutions, and a whole bunch of hospitals, which right now is a big deal. So this area is all about automation and manufacturing. We're going to start in our last year. This is one of our final projects. They take these 2 conveyors that do not have all the equipment you see on them right here, and they have to run this like a real job. So we're starting someone from this is a wire, getting them all the way up to where we've got foremen, general foremen, and crews building those conveyors out. They have to look at specs, prints, they have to wire everything up, and they have to make it run. If it doesn't run, guess what they're doing? They're troubleshooting, they're fixing it. So this program starts you out from ground zero. We are really good at giving you little bites and chunks of things that relate to the next block of instruction, going all the way up into what does it take to complete an entire system, building, process, whatever it may be. You get a lot of experience here. Now, along with that, and what we talked about up in the computer lab, we have PLCs. And this is one of our PLC cabinets. Most of the equipment we have here is out of the field. It's actual equipment. So you are working on the real thing. We have very, very few trainers. The stuff that we have is the same equipment, processes, types of things you're going to see in the real world. So we don't do much training on trainers. It's the real thing. So this is one other system, just to give you an idea, that we have all different types of equipment that you are actually working hands-on, wiring up, troubleshooting, fixing, repairing, and sometimes calibrating. Very, very nice process. Now, I'm really partial to this area because there are a few places that have the resources we have for the industrial type of work, but we're going to step into another location. I'm going to hand it off to Cody here in just a second, and it's called our Bixie Lab. That's where we get into some telecommunications, and you're going to find out that this is just scratching the surface. We've already talked about industrial, right? Now we're going to some low voltage stuff.
So the next room we're going to walk into is the Bixie Lab, just like Harold said. The purpose of this room is to figure out how we wire up all different types of low voltage systems, whether that low voltage system be just an internet, a basic phone line, or even how to power up these lights in this room using Ethernet cables. Throughout the entire 5 years of this program, you will learn a lot of basic stuff that will eventually build upon itself and get you to the point where you can figure out how do you get the internet from point A to point B. How are you able to send an email? How are you able to look up pictures? How are you able to watch a YouTube video? This class is the culmination of all 5 years where we learn a lot of the low voltage systems, whether it be through copper or fiber.
Cody? So what I just heard him say is if you shopped on Amazon, if you played a game and were playing against somebody over in, I don't know, Africa or Indonesia or Germany, and whatever that game might be, you're welcome. If you made a phone call to your grandmother this week, you're welcome. If you made a Visa transaction, you're welcome, because we do all that stuff. Whether it's a cable, whether it's a fiber, security systems, fire alarm systems, we do all those things. This room is the gateway to the universe. And if you look over my head there's a camera. We do that too, security and access control. And we even get into some kind of cool stuff. That looks like a smoke detector, but it's actually a camera too. Expanding on that, one of the other things that we get into is a little home automation, whether it's lighting controls, sprinklers, again, fire alarm and access, but also we do a little bit of home automation, stereo, surround sound. I hope you're getting an idea after what we've been telling you that what an electrician does is a lot more than just those switches, lights, and receptacles Cody talked about. To get into the program, there's an application process. That will always be posted on our website, loujatc.com. After you apply, and it's an online portal so you can do everything from your living room, after you apply, you'll go into a quay. We process all your application, make sure you've got everything you need, and at that point you're scheduled for an aptitude test. Now, the aptitude test does cost $25, and basically you just have to have a passing score. As long as you pass the score on the aptitude test, you move to the next step. As long as you get that minimum medium passing score on the aptitude test, the other thing that'll happen next is you'll be scheduled for an interview. And on that interview, you'll just come in. It'll be about 10 or 15 minutes at the outside. You can just tell us about yourself, why you're interested in the program. After the interview, you're done with the process. At that point, every apprentice gets put on a waiting list. Excuse me, it's not really a waiting list. We call it a ranking list. And what we do when we have employment where we think we can keep people working fairly consistently is we take off the top of that ranking list. So if we need 10 people, we offer it to the top 10. If, let's say, 9 of those 10 take it, well, then we'll offer it to the next one until we get the number that we think we can keep employed. And you stay on that for a full year. If you're not selected within a year, you can reapply again. Now what we're in is our medium voltage room. And I'm going to pan up here on the wall. All these are medium voltage cables. And this is the kind of stuff that you see out there on the poles, stuff that's feeding the transformers hanging off the side of the poles or feeding big equipment in buildings. One of the things we do is teach not only 3 volts, 120 volts, 480 volts, but we also teach how to safely handle up to 13,800 volts, the biggest voltage I've ever worked on. In this class, we tear apart these cables. We work with a bunch of different methods of rebuilding them, splicing, terminating them. Basically, you can, if you take the entire class, you can get certifications on the older method, which is tape splicing, all the way up through 5 different types of kits for splicing and terminating this high voltage cable. Really, really cool. Not too many people get to do it, but we teach it to you. So if you ever get the opportunity, you can take advantage of it. And we're going to start over here. Electricians. Told you we do a lot of things. We even do rigging and lifting. We are qualified to give an OSHA rigger certification. And we've got equipment right here to not only teach you the concepts, but actually lift some stuff, show you how different types of lifting mechanisms works, show you how to safely rig something up so you can get it up to that roof or that second floor or whatever you need to do. You might be amazed at some of the huge equipment an electrician lifts. What I've just walked into is our transformer area. So we're going to have various rooms. We're making a much better transformer lab than we had. And this one has got a 3-phase and a single-phase panel, as well as disconnects and transformers. And it's also got a motor control, and we'll have some low voltage in it. So this one area will basically be all the primary and major systems of any commercial or industrial building right there. All of our people have to complete a set of hands-on and written tasks before they can turn out the program to make sure that they've got a good handle on the broad scope of what we do. We can't turn somebody out for the kind of money and benefits we get unless we know they can actually do it. And now we're walking into the last room. This is our newest motor control lab. And if you just look at this guy real quick, we have a total of 18 stations. And I'm going to give you a little insight here into what they are. So with this button configuration, we can simulate practically anything out there in the real world. We have a couple of different types. We have NEMA as well as IEC style devices, which some of you are going to know what that means. In here, we've got low voltage, we've got AC, we've got DC. We have a motor drive, which is just a fancy switch controlling a motor on how fast or slow it goes. We can give it more or less torque characteristics. We can even reverse it if we want to. We've also got AC and DC power supplies. We've got a little PLC, a programmable controller, a programmable relay in this case, and all different types of devices. Each one of these stations is a little bit different. We don't teach a student how to just put the wires in the right place. Everything we do is geared towards them understanding and knowing how to do things right. And the big thing is understanding how to fix it if it's not working right, if something's wrong with it. We do a really nice job here. We take pride in what we do. And the reason we do that is because we're teaching our own. We are all members and we're teaching our own people. So it's a little bit different than any other educational institution you've been involved with. It's not just us teaching a student that's going to walk out the door and we'll never see them again. We'll see our students all the way up until we or they retire. So it's a pretty cool system. All right, I've just walked out of the last motor control room and we're going to head over to our final destination. But while I'm walking, I want you to know a little background about the rest of the system. We currently have 6 full-time instructors, plus I do a little bit of teaching. Every one of us are certified from factories to actually do their training, so we can give you factory certifications right here. Most of us are factory certified first aid and CPR trainers. We all have some kind of college degree. We've all got apprenticeship certificates. We've all completed the apprenticeship. 3 or 4 of us have been teaching at a JETC for almost 20 years. So we've got a good handle on what we do, and we can help people get through this program as long as they're willing to be dedicated. Now, what do you have to do to succeed here? What do you have to do to succeed in life? What do you have to do to succeed on one of our construction jobs? Well, it's pretty simple. You have to do 2 things. You have to show up, you have to do a good job. What does that mean? Well, show up's pretty simple. If you don't know what show up means, then don't apply. So show up, and when you show up, you need to be on time. On time doesn't mean right at 7. It means before that, 15, 20 minutes before 7, whatever your start time is. And what I mean by do a good job, well, work. Don't be lazy. Don't be on your phone. Actually learn what could potentially be the greatest career move of your life. Dedicate yourself to learning it, to being the best. In any trade, in any job, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're an accountant or an electrician, the way this works is the more effort you put into it, the more you're going to work, the more money you're going to make, the more retirement you'll have. So when I say just show up and do a good job, it's really that simple. Now, behind the scenes, you've got to work. One of the biggest problems we have when it comes to apprentices that don't make it is attendance and lack of effort. We can get you through the program if you want to make it. So don't forget, if you have any more questions, go to our website or give the office a call, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. So from me, Harold from the JATC, from our cool mascot, and from Cody and the rest of our instructors, glad you took a few minutes to listen. Hope it was informative. Whatever career path you have, good luck with it. Dedicate yourself and have a good life. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.